we talked earlier about this race in Philadelphia for
DA.
for district attorney.
Yeah.
And we have joining us now Pat Dugan, who's been in the studio with us before. Judge Dugan, welcome back to the Conservative Voice on WWDB.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So when we talked to you last time, it was just before the primary, and you're still in the fight.
I am still in a fight.
Yeah.
The Republican Party in the city of Philadelphia did a write-in campaign since there was no candidate on a Republican side, and they were able to secure me almost 7,000 votes.
Nice.
The same strategy that happened in Allegheny County, and that person won the general election. So, there's a shot here now. There's 250,000 more eligible voters in the general election than were eligible in the Democratic primary. And 130,000 of them are Republicans, and the rest of 120,000, whatever the numbers, they are independents.
Nice.
And this is a race that, to me, my party is a Philadelphian. It truly is. That I am reaching out to everybody. I'm not looking just for support from Republicans or Democrats or independents. I want everybody, because this, frankly, the district attorney's race to me is bigger than politics, because it's about the safety of our city. It's about the prosperity of our city. We could talk about, I can go into murder rates, retail thefts. There's so many things that this Soros-backed candidate, Larry Krasner, has been doing for 8 years. And anybody with a little bit of common sense needs to come together and make sure they come out to vote to get rid of Larry Krasner, put somebody like me in there who can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So, you talk about the crime rates, and we keep hearing that that's not really an issue, that all these cities, including Philadelphia, are very, very safe. Everything's fine, and the people are quite happy.
Yeah, I heard the giggle.
It's me. It's me. I'm the giggler.
Mine is the giggler with tears coming down my eye that we've bought into that, particularly in Philadelphia. So, I heard they just came out with some study about how much safer we are now. There was some report on Action News. And then last night, why? Obviously, we're all depressed today if you're any kind of sports fan.
Oh, it's a rough night.
Yes, it
a
sure
rough
is.
night. Yeah.
So how depressed I am this morning. The city's going to be so much more depressed come November 5th if he's still in, because last night 2 people were stabbed in Chinatown. One guy was murdered on the 3200 block of Ridge Avenue. Another guy was 21 bullets at Broad and Packer, right down the street from the sports facility. So to say we're safer, I was talking to this the Philly captain. He's one of these influencers. Social media guy. We were up McPherson Park up in K&A, and we were talking about the numbers. He's telling me how many times his car's been broken into, but none of it's ever been reported. So many people come up to me and say, my car was stolen, my car was broken into. Those numbers never get into the system because people are so tired of not getting a case. So when a crime occurs to a person in the city of Philadelphia now, police would respond, they'd investigate, might make an arrest, and then the DA would prefer charges and take it to court. Well, what's happening is now the police are so used to Krasner turning down charges that they don't respond to things like car break-ins. Even if you got them on your video cam, on your Ring doorbell, even with that, Krasner will not prosecute those defendants. I hear it all the time, everywhere I go. So crime numbers might be down in some categories, but it's only because people are not calling the police or the police are not arresting because Krasner will decline prosecution. So to me, this is all BS. Just ask the family that lives in West Philly or Southwest Philly or in Bridesburg how safe they feel now sitting on their steps.
Right.
So I was looking at a website for dangerous neighborhoods according to real estate agents. I want to move to Philadelphia, so what neighborhoods should I look into? Here are the 20 most dangerous neighborhoods you should avoid. Nicetown, Tioga, 417% more dangerous than the average American neighborhood.
Wow.
That's crazy. Port Richmond, 216% more dangerous. Frankfurt, 206. Strawberry Mansion, 380% more dangerous. Shouldn't our city expect our neighborhoods to be as safe as the average neighborhoods in the country?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're not getting it. We're not getting it. And that's crazy.
So when Mina and I spent some time in Philadelphia last year during the 24 cycle talking to people, and one of the guys we talked to on on his stoop outside his, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we said, well, has it always been this way? This is in Kensington, I think.
Right.
We were in Kensington.
Yes,
Tom.
we were in Kensington.
And, has it always been this way? Has it always been the case that this area has just been like this? The businesses are closed. We looked at a long list of businesses closed, and, the neighbors seem to be unhappy. We watched these people shooting up on the sidewalk,
Yes.
and, I mean, there's some real tragedy that you could see down there as you walk through the city. Also some great people in there, to be clear.
Absolutely.
Right? We talked to some fabulous people.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun, actually. But it is not a normal place. And so we said, well, how long's it been like this? And they said, well, 5 years.
Yeah.
That it's really happened over about 5 years. So why is it that suddenly these neighborhoods are bad?
I seriously, and it's not just because I'm in this race, I put most of it at the feet of Larry Krasner.
Yeah.
So if we just take a look at Mayor Parker, she ran on her platform was she was going to actually start addressing crime. And she's trying to do that. Her and Commissioner Bethel have become partners. So when they sat around and talked about what can we do in Kensington, they came up with a plan to go in there, sweep everybody out there, get everybody a bed, get them some mental health, drug treatment, et cetera. Actually arrest the people who are selling the drugs on the corner. But Krasner will not prosecute people who are doing things that are illegal in Kensington. That's an area that he will not prosecute people when they break the law. So many shootings, open-air drug sales, obviously drug use out in the open. So Parker and Bethel want to do things, but if you don't have the DA going along with it, they can't do a damn thing.
Right.
So
Right.
if the police department arrests every single person out there committing a crime, okay, now we're moving forward. But if Krasner won't prosecute, it goes away. And that's what's happened for a little bit recently when Parker tried to do it. But the reason why Kensington has gone down this road so bad is because of Krasner's attitude, this laissez-faire with the prior administration under Jimmy Kenney, when they were more together about what they should be doing about this. They just let it go. So these people out there in the throes of addiction, mental health issues, they're dying at a super high rate. Yeah. They're being picked up in a body bag, where as a judge, when we could get people like that in the throes of addiction, mental health crisis, you bring them in, we force them to go to treatment.
Yeah.
People in the throes of addiction don't go until they're forced. It's very rare that somebody will say, okay, I'm ready to go.
Today's the day. I'm going to do it today. No, something happens. They hit that bottom.
Right, and the guy in the black robe sitting up there saying, no, you're going to go, and you're going to go get a Vivitrol shot, you're going to get a bed, you're going to talk about your treatment, we're going to help you. No, I'm not going to do it. Yes, you are. They go. 30 days later, they come back. Judge, thank you so much. Wow. Krasner doesn't buy into any of that. He calls himself progressive. He's an anarchist. He doesn't want to do anything there. I can't come up with any other reason other than he is brainwashed by Soros and he's an anarchist, because there's no other sense to this. Because I did restorative rehabilitative justice. Mm-hmm. He doesn't.
There's nothing sympathetic about leaving people to live on the street.
Oh,
there is
thank you.
nothing sympathetic about allowing drug addicts free access to unlimited drugs so that they can continue on this path. There is nothing loving or kind or sympathetic about it at all. They need help. They are sick. And we have the resources to be able to do so. And instead, we ignore it. We don't prosecute them when they commit crimes, which if you prosecute people, you end up in front of a judge like you, sir, who's going to help them get treatment, who's going to help them get on a better path. It's not just about sending people to jail. It's about getting them help. Ignoring them is not helpful.
And so one of the things that when Gary and I were down in Kensington, and I think a lot of people forget this, is that it is a community. Yes. And it's not just, I mean, yes, we have people who are on drugs and they need help and they need treatment. But when I go to Kensington and when Gary and I was there, we saw families. We saw children that were walking to school, and they had the young lady that we were following walked past 35 needles. And I think that people forget that there are folks there, they want to live a nice quality of life. And to have a DA that doesn't do anything to prosecute is so harmful to Philadelphia as a whole, in neighborhoods, in the community, and as a whole. And so we do need someone to come in and fix things. And one of the things, I saw a video of you, Judge Dugan, discussing the fact that you're not a person that wants to see everyone behind bars, and that you do have a plan when you get in office to address the folks who are having drug issues and separated from the folks who are committing crimes. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, Kensington, the neighborhood's the biggest victim when we're talking about these crimes there. But yeah, we can go down. So I did Veterans Court. I was involved with the Prostitutes Court. I was involved with Mental Health Court. And we wrap around services. We help turn people's lives around. So I want to continue to do that thing. I want to continue to do those programs. I thought Krasner was going to help us. He obstructs. He was an obstructionist.
Obstructionist.
Somebody say that word.
Yeah, obstructionist.
Yeah, can I spell it? I can. Obstructionist. So that's what he's been, and everybody within the system knows that. But he refuses to prosecute people. Fare evasion, very minor crime, right? $50 million a year was lost in fare evasion to SEPTA. Do that 5 years.
That's people jumping the turnstiles.
Jumping a turnstile, not paying, and he refused to prosecute anybody, so SEPTA started letting them just do it. In 5 years, that's $250 million. You think that would have helped SEPTA? Wawa came into Center City. 10 stores, $100 million investment. 9 of them have closed.
Yep.
Our tax base is being ruined because what's going in the place where Wawa was? Right now, many of them, they're still vacant, but some junk stores going in there, so we're not getting the same tax revenue.
Right.
All the looting that occurred, COVID and during the riots in the city of Philadelphia.
The Summer of Love.
Summer of Love. Some of those stores never reopened because Krasner would not prosecute the looters. So, and I didn't even get into the real issue is the gun violence on our street. 10,000 people in the city of Philadelphia have been shot and wounded since he took office.
10,000?
Wow.
10,000. Over 10,000. Almost 3,200 people have been murdered in the city of Philadelphia. Now, I'm a veteran of, I was in Iraq and Afghanistan. We were in a 20-year war in Afghanistan. 2,459 military personnel were killed in Afghanistan.
Right.
But 3,200 people have been killed in less than 8 years in the city of Philadelphia. There's something wrong with that.
Yeah, that's in the scale of a war.
And one of the big problems is somebody running around with an illegal gun, committing a crime, they get snatched up, they get caught, they get arrested. Krasner doesn't prosecute them to the fullest. So now that young man is now emboldened. I got away with this gun case. I don't care. So now this young person whose brain's not even developed yet goes out and commits another one. By the time he's caught, these kids have 3, 4, 5 serious charges against them, a couple bodies. We can't let those kids continue to do that. The first time they get caught with an illegal gun or a violent crime, we need to put them in some sort of structure, mentorship, change their brains, which way they're going so they don't do it again. And there are programs out there that will actually get good success. Letting them go doesn't work, and that's what he does.
We're seeing that catastrophe across the board here. I mean, we're seeing it in every city, Philadelphia, Atlanta. I mean, all of these major cities are, honestly, all of these major cities have DAs who've been funded by these programs and people who wish to see charges not brought. They wish to see these crimes brushed under the rug or completely ignored. It's a socialist program. But we are watching violence come out of all of these cities on a regular basis. And every time we get into the record of the person who is the perpetrator, they have 20 arrests, half of them violent, and they've been completely paroled or let out.
Well, yeah, and the fact that it's not just
prosecuted.
one city,
Yeah.
that it's a lot of cities means it's a movement, it's intentional, it's coordinated.
Yeah.
These folks, to your point, Ada, have been sponsored to get into office by people who have been working diligently to undermine our society. But then everybody says, well, let's lock them up forever. All right, well, in some cases that's the only option. But there are other options, and you touched on something a moment ago. What is Veterans Court?
So Veterans Court, we started that in 2010. I was blessed enough that I was able to start that. Two justices on the Supreme Court, Seamus McCaffrey and Chief Justice Ron Castile. Ron Castile is a Marine veteran who lost a leg in Vietnam, and Seamus McCaffrey was a Marine Air Force Reservist for years. So they were up there. I was talking to everybody. I want to start a veterans court based off one up in Buffalo. They told me, just start it. So they gave us the go. We started it, and we modeled it after drug treatment court. You're a veteran. You commit a crime. You're arrested. Those allegations come in front of me. But in my courtroom, I have a team of people there to help you. I have somebody there to help you with your VA benefits. I have a mentor, a fellow veteran who's going to be your big brother, big sister, because it's men and women. I have drug and alcohol counselors. I have people who can help you find a job. And it's all about what brings you into this court today. What issues do you have in your life besides the fact that you assaulted this person? And we treat them holistically. We get into that bond that the military has, and it works. We get people going back to Temple University for college on their VA benefits. They get connected for their PTSD. Their families get benefits, and less than 10% recidivism rate, which is unheard of.
Amazing.
And
What would be a normal
works.
recidivism rate? How many of these people would reoffend?
Typically, I'll tell you what, if you get 30%, you're doing one hell of a job. But typically, it's 40, 50, 60%.
Wow.
I mean, most people that get involved in the criminal justice system, they tend to come back, particularly if there's some violence. But we turn their lives around. I would go up to SCI Phoenix. It used to be called Greaterford.
Yeah.
I would take some veterans in my courtroom. We'd get in a van, and we would go up to Greaterford, go behind bars, and talk to lifers, convicted murderers. We'd sit in a round table. These men behind bars took a peer mentoring class so that they could talk to these veterans. And we would sit around and talk about the mistakes that the lifers made, and they'd look at these young kids and try to convince them to turn a new page, stop breaking the law. You don't need to be in here. Now, those guys going up in the van were all like, man, what am I doing here? I don't want to go up here. They had attitude. On the way back, Judge Dugan, thank you. Thank you. Wow. So that's the kind of stuff that I do. But I also will tell you that the guy who was running around at a block party and just spraying a bunch of people out there trying to have a good time with his machine gun needs to go to jail, and go to jail for a long time. I don't have a problem with that, because you can't be doing that. You can't just spray a machine gun into a crowd.
Well, and that's a cultural thing. I mean, that person is part of a broader problem. It has to be stopped. You can't negotiate your way out of that. That's, and again, it's in all these cities. And so people are unsafe, and yet we're being told, oh, no, don't listen to the people that live in these cities. They're all wrong. Everything's great, and look at the statistics. Now, we know that the FBI tried to implement a different statistical tool in 2021. They ran it till about 23 and then rejected it because what happened is a lot of these. Yeah, well, it was voluntary.
And the reporting.
Yeah, and a lot of these municipalities simply quit reporting.
Right.
So
looks real good if you don't tell them any numbers, right?
Well, exactly. If you just don't report the crime, then the crime is going away, right?
Yeah.
But so they're telling the citizens, don't pay attention to what you see. But the other problem is when it comes time for an election, they don't have a choice. There's never a choice. Right. The party infrastructure picks somebody, the media, especially in the Democrat side, the media comes in and says this person's a hero. They hide anything they've done that's inaccurate or inappropriate or wrong or ineffective, and they just build them up and sell them. And the voters say, well, why would I bother? Why even bother trying to vote? Because it's just the new guy's the old guy, and I can't get rid of the old guy. So it is interesting that in this November 4th election, there's actually going to be a choice in Philadelphia.
Yes. So
thank God.
Well, people have to come out to vote.
Yes.
So, again, I was in Iraq, and the biggest thing that we did there that was actually a good thing was we actually gave people the power to vote. And when I was there in 2004, people were, under the threat of death threats, came out to vote. And when they would vote, it was the very first time they could, they would put their finger in a purple inkwell, and they came out. They were so proud that they were able to vote. Not everybody in humanity has had that ability.
Right.
We live in the birthplace of democracy here, and not enough people come out to vote. 16.61% of eligible voters voted in the springtime. So that means 83.39% of people stayed home, yet we're all complaining about it. People have to get out and vote. It's the only way. There's no other remedy to get rid of somebody like Larry Krasner. He's done enough that he probably should be indicted, but I don't see anybody doing that. He can't be recalled. That's not what we do in Philadelphia. He was impeached, but unfortunately the time ran out because of the legislature. Their session ended for that term. So he was impeached, but they couldn't go ahead and do the trial. So the only remedy is to get rid of Larry Krasner through the ballot box, and that's November 4th. And for all those people who hate going out because it's going to be a cold day, you can get a mail-in ballot. Mail-in ballot, just Google it, Philadelphia, and it's easy. It's easy to do it. It'll come to you, and you can vote Krasner out or whoever the heck you want to vote for. Send it in.
Well, one of the things that I tell folks is, listen, make it a family affair, right? Get your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, and everyone, and y'all get in the car and you drive down, because Philadelphia has 1,703 voting stations. You can get to one. You can step out your door and go right to the corner store and vote. So, yeah, there are mail-in ballots, but I would prefer you to go right in person and press the button, because then you'll feel great about the fact that you just got rid of Krasner, as opposed to reading about it and thinking, maybe I did or maybe I didn't.
Right.
Well, and again, you've got to have a reason to vote.
Yeah.
And the problem we have in this off-year cycle, as they call it, is that people think, well, it's an off year. Why would I bother?
I think they called it off years on purpose,
I
just
do.
to make us not care about, oh, it's just an off year. It's just the people who control every aspect of our everyday lives, guys. No big deal. Nothing to focus on.
And you see the folks that are going to be elected, these races that are coming up in November. These are the folks that are raising taxes dramatically at the county, at the city, at the township levels, all over the state, at the school boards. They're setting policy that absolutely affects your child, not once in a while, not if they get tied up in something that they shouldn't, every single day in their schools. Yep. And so there is no off year. We have to vote every year. But it is really interesting that in Philadelphia this time, there is this choice to make that hasn't been a choice. I don't remember
in a long time.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a valid opportunity to vote like this.
John Street, there has not been a choice since then.
Wow,
is that
that's
right?
a throwback.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's really interesting to see this evolve. So what are we, a month? How many weeks away are we now from election?
We're less than a month away.
27 days.
27 days.
We can do it. Let's go, Philadelphia.
Listen, I really want to come back into the city again. My husband doesn't want to come in because the crime's so bad. And I love the city. I want to come back to the city. I want to go out at night. I want to go to shows.
We want you back.
Listen, the feeling's mutual. So we just need to get rid of Krasner and start prosecuting some crimes again. It's a huge discouraging thing to have the fear of prosecution. That is why we have the system we have. It's discouraging. But it's so demoralizing to the people who are stuck in these communities.
But wait a minute, you're saying the fear of prosecution because you may go down there and get in a situation where you have to defend yourself or for things that aren't real serious crimes, whereas there are some serious crimes that aren't being addressed.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a memo that Krasner put out after he got started that said, I'm not going to enforce the law on these particular things
you
like
can
burglary?
commit these crimes here and I won't do anything.
For $4.99.
1 month in. So he came in January of 18, and February of 18 he put out that memo, and it made retail theft, prostitution, and you know what? There's so many other things: illegal dumping, fare evasion, illegal carrying guns illegally. He didn't put it in a memo, but it was certainly in his mind and certainly with the policies within his office. So, he talks about all those broken window stuff. You know what? That actually works. When it first came out, everybody glorified it. Then people were saying, no, it's not working. It works. And the criminologists and the people that really studied that broken windows theory works.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to get on SEPTA and harass people, you need to be told to cut it out or I'm going to arrest you. If we stop doing even that, people get assaulted on a train and a bus. Krasner won't prosecute them.
It's astonishing. And you think about, you made the comment on Wawa, which I hadn't known, that they invested in 10 stores, 9 are closed. And that means whoever lives in that community no longer has that choice.
Yeah.
It's not, the tax revenue is part of it, but it's also the fact that the people in the community simply can't go to Wawa now.
Exactly. And I love Wawa coffee. That's my thing.
Do you?
Yeah.
And so now you got to either, get in your car and drive?
I got to drive now.
A long distance. It just doesn't make sense for the communities to be in this position forever, and that's where it really is. So it's going to be interesting to see how this comes, and we'll be watching carefully to see the turnout on November 4 and the outcome of this election. So keep us posted.
I will. Hopefully it can make this change and move on, make the city much safer than it is right now. And I appreciate you folks.
Thank you for joining us today on The Conservative Voice. And we'll be back in just a few minutes, everyone, for the second hour.